Hey friends, welcome back to the Aligned Lifestylist. I'm Corey and I'm so glad you're here. So welcome back if you've been here before. If you're new, I hope you love what we're going to talk about today because I am really excited and I'll talk about why in just a minute. But if you're new here, I just want to say welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you find. Hope you'll go back into past episodes and listen to different ones that may resonate with you. My sole purpose of this podcast is to help you remember who you are, why you're here, why you have symptoms, what your body's trying to tell you, what you don't know about yourself that maybe we can find some clues on to help you get back on your path or get back to remembering what the heck you're here for. Instead of living in the chaos and the pain and the all the things going on that kind of drag us down and suck our energy, my goal is to help you recognize what gives you energy, what makes you thrive, what lights you up so that you can go live a truly aligned life. And so part of the podcast purpose is to take you along on my journey. And I've talked a lot about my past and what got me to this place. But I like to tie in things that are happening currently because usually what happens to me is for a reason. It's usually because I'm going to have a client that I need that's going to have the same issue, or it's something that I need to work through so I can learn or teach something else. And it gets more and more interesting. And so I've been talking to you guys about the saga of my elbow. And so this morning, as I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, I really started with a completely blank slate because I just thought, I don't like to do it out of pressure. And I've given myself permission to not feel overly committed that that my energy has to be right to record the podcast or I just won't do it. And so we live in a society that's like you have to post this many times. If you say you're posting on Monday, you have to post on Monday and then the algorithm changes and everything goes haywire. And so I got so frustrated with that with social media that I just decided I wanted the podcast to be so real and so true to who I am that if I post and my energy's low, then I'm going to tell you why. If I record and my energy's low, then you're going to know why. I'm going to be truthful about it. But most of the time I'm super excited to record. But this morning I kind of woke up and I was like, I don't even know what I want to talk about today. But as usual, as I'm doing my morning ritual, the downloads come. And so I have several little notes I took that I want to talk about today, but it starts with my elbow. So hope you all had a happy 4th of July weekend celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country, which is awesome. So I hope you all enjoyed that, whatever you went out and did. We went away and got up in the mountains, far, far away from everything. And it's my favorite thing to do is to get out on the four-wheeler and just go explore places we've never seen with our good friends. And we love doing that. And so what I've started to notice is when we leave the city and we go out into the country away from like where we go there, you literally know people most of the time. And so what I've noticed is that there's a certain entry point on I-15 in Utah that when I cross that boundary, it's like there's this bubble that I'm coming back into, and the pain in my elbow came back. And I've noticed that several times that while I'm gone all weekend, the pain's gone. And it takes a minute to go away. It's not gone immediately. But as the days go on, it goes away and then it comes back. And so as I talked about last week, a lot of that is the spiritual like connection of what's going on with me at a different on a higher level is there's changes that need to be made that I'm not making. Well, I'm in the process of that, and so I feel like it's kind of starting to ease up. But that was so interesting this weekend on the way back home last night, just recognizing the pain's back, and then my back started hurting, and I know that my long-term mission and goal is to move to a place that is more isolated like that. Not that I want to be completely isolated, but just a place that's very peaceful where there's not traffic, where there's just not a lot going on, and where I can just be outside a lot and enjoy nature. And so that's something that I'm like consciously aware of needs to happen, and I'm waiting for correct timing. And so as I was thinking about it this morning, I thought, okay, well, I can't do that right now. I'm working towards that. But what is it what's my body trying to tell me? What is it that's happening? right currently that I can get from this right now. And what it was is that when I'm away, I'm 100% present. I'm in the moment. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I'm not thinking about the list of things to do. I am literally so in that moment that I am thinking about nothing else but what's going on right then. And so as that came to me this morning, I thought, oh my gosh, what can I do? What am I doing subconsciously and consciously that I can create that better when I'm home? And so because it's been a bit of a conundrum of why do I feel stress in my body, even though my life isn't super stressful? And that's one of the things that when we talk a lot about nervous system here is that your nervous system is constantly being overstimulated when you're on your phone. I jumped on my phone this morning and I got on for just a minute to look at one thing. And 15 minutes later, I was like, oh, it's birthdays. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's this. And so I feel like it's given me ADD. And so I've talked to you guys many times about don't pick up your phone first thing in the morning because it starts your day out in a place of complete all over the place, all chaos. And so that's one thing that's really, really helped. But when I feel really discombobulated or like I'm all over the place, it's first and foremost it's grounding. So going out, walking barefoot in the grass, just taking a minute to just like regroup myself. But the other thing is really simplifying. And we're going to talk about that today a little bit as far as some things that you can do, some questions you can ask yourself to figure out, okay, what can I eliminate? How can I simplify? What's taking my energy? What gives me energy? And I'm super excited about that because in the group coaching program that's coming up, it's going to be all about that. We're going to take your human design, which is your operating manual of who you are. I'm starting to incorporate your human design with your astrology, which will be part of my new sessions where we look at the way that how you chose to come in as a soul, that's your astrology and how everything affects you here. But then it's like, okay, well, I have that astrology. How do I use it and implement it in a good way to get what I'm here to have purpose? But to get what I want out of life, right? So stay tuned for that because that was just something that has started to come in that it's like, okay, I've got to take the astrology and the human design, and I'll still lead with human design. But when you start looking at your astrology, and because your human design is affected by astrology, and we're all constantly affected by the way the planets are moving and changing, and where the sun is and the moon is, and all of that. And so even though you have a specific human design, that design is affected every single day by the planetary motion. So I'm not going to become an astrologist. I will tell you that right now. That's way too deep for me. But there's a few things in astrology that when we can look at them with human design, amazing. So as you're thinking, whatever's coming to mind during that, I want you to think about where do you feel, well, since we're talking about being present, where do you feel the most present? Like think about where you feel very just peaceful and not stressed out, not worried, not thinking about the future, not having a to-do list. If you can't answer that question, then it's time to get out in nature and figure that out. It's time to find places, find time. Like I'm in the middle of reconstructing my office and it's not what I want right now, but it's a very comfy place now because I removed my heavy desk. There's now a sofa in here and it's just a more conducive place for me to be creative. And so I can come in here and get a lot done when I need to focus. But when I need to be out of the world, then I need to go on a walk and I need to be by water. That's how I do it. So start thinking of things that you can do, or what are activities that you do that keep you in present. So for me, it's really interesting because when I'm gardening, when I'm out in the yard, when I'm doing anything with plants and flowers, you would think that because I'm quiet, that it would make my mind go crazy thinking all the time. But what it actually does is that all goes away. It's almost, I'm so present. I don't even know how to explain it, but there's no thinking. And what I do, I do get downloads, but there's not the like constant mind spinning that I've dealt with a lot of my life. So find the way that helps you get present. And even if it's only 5 minutes a day to start, you have to start somewhere. And once you get that feeling, your body will just crave it. You will want it all the time. And so it's learning in the chaotic world how to create that and how to make that in the life you live. Because what works for me may not work for you. And depending on what place and season you are in your life, it's going to be different for you. So some of us have a lot of time to create that space and some of us don't have a lot of time. But you've really got to dial in. Go back to last week's episode and answer the questions, that the journal prompts. But you've got to dial in what's sucking your energy that you actually have the ability to remove or mitigate that energy suck. So um, there's a couple things that you can ask yourself. One is what and who. So let's talk people, places, things as in activities, okay? So who, where, and what suck your energy. And so if you get your journal out and you start writing down, just let it come. Don't prejudge it, anything. Just be like, what is really sucking my energy and just drains me right now? It could be your kids, because if you're a mom, it's very draining. And that's not negative. It just takes a lot of energy, right? It could be people that you work with. It could be people in your family. It could be people that you hang out with a lot. It could be so many different things, okay? But get dialing down what it is instead of just going, oh my gosh, I'm so drained. Well, let's figure out why you're drained, okay? So listing those things and then giving an honest look at that. How can you either mitigate the energy that they're taking from you, or how can you completely stop the energy drain? And so that may be changing jobs. That may be um, not being as social as you used to be. I've had to pick and choose when I can be social, because being social, as much as I love it, massively drains my energy. And depending on your centers in your human design, you will get a lot of energy stuff going on when you're with a lot of people. Even though I know how to shield myself and I can go into a situation protected, it will still do it. And that sometimes that's just saying, hey, you need to go be alone for a while. Okay. So, especially if you're a projector, if you have a hermit two in your profile, those are people who need to get away. But we all have places in our charts that tell us how and when we need to rest. Manifestors need rest. We all need rest, but some of us just need it more than others. So you've got it, meaning getting away from all energy. Okay. Um, then I want you to think of the things that give you energy. Like for what I was just explaining with my yards, I get energy when I'm doing a yard. I get energy when I'm doing the podcast. I get energy when I'm working with clients. I get energy when I'm around my kids and when I'm around my honey bun and when I'm around people that I love being around, right? Now, collectively, that might take my energy sometimes, but I love, it lights me up, it makes me happy. The key is using your strategy and authority to decide if your energy is available for that situation, those people, those places. So it doesn't mean you have to give everything up. That's what I love about learning your strategy and authority is you can start going, oh, yeah, I can't do that today. And that's just a no for me. And so it's really interesting the more you practice using it, how quickly you start to go, oh my gosh, I didn't listen. I'm not listening. I've got to listen to me and not what I want. And so I've had multiple conversations with people over the last few days about, is your body saying yes? Or are you saying yes just because it sounds fun or maybe it was something that was fun before, or you're just trying to fill up the time? There's you have to remember that using your energy correctly puts you in alignment with your path. It keeps you on that magnetic monopole path that drives you towards your purpose. So when you say yes to things that aren't correct for you, like I spoke about a lot in the last podcast, it messes up your energy, messes up their energy because you're putting yourself in their energy when you're not supposed to, which throws off their path. Does that make sense? So that's why it's so cool to have boundaries and to start saying no to things that you are afraid people are going to be angry about, because you're opening up doors for both parties to get aligned with what's correct for them. So think of what brings you energy, and then when you put the what doesn't bring me energy or what's taking my energy with what does bring me energy, where can you find some balance in that? And where can you start to take action? Because a lot of times we'll listen to a podcast or we'll read something or we'll see a reel And we'll think to ourselves, oh, well, I'm going to go, I'll incorporate that. And we don't really sit down and take time to actually mentally integrate it into our lives and take action on it. So I really want to encourage you to take those couple of questions and really sit with them and really make a change on what have I committed to, or what do I keep saying yes to that's not working for me, that's draining my energy. And if it's something you committed to that's down the road, guess what? You can take yourself out of it. So much of our guilt and shame and the crud that comes on us from programming tells us if you committed to something, you have to stick to it. And that is not true. Many of you are manifestors, manifesting generators. You're going to change your mind. And if you use your energy incorrectly, and generators as well, you're using your energy correctly, you're saying yes to things that you shouldn't say yes to because you have the time and the energy to do it, you're just throwing yourself off. So really getting clear, and I'll always go back to type, strategy, and authority. If that's all you learn about your human design and you really focus on those for a couple of months and practice using them and paying attention to when you're out of alignment with your type and you're not using your strategy and authority, that'll help keep you on track, and you'll stop saying yes to things that are not correct for you. You will stop jumping ahead. Like for manifesting generators, it's very big for us to get excited about an idea and jump ahead and move too fast and then have to back up and be like, okay, timing wasn't right. I jumped too fast. So just understanding those simple things about your energy can really help you make better choices. And then it affects everyone around you. So, um, I gotta check out my notes here. So, one of the things that's really big that I've talked about a lot is using tarot cards or oracle cards in your morning ritual or whenever you do it. But if you need answers. So, this morning, I've used oracle cards for quite a while. And I recently purchased a couple of decks of tarot cards because it's just been something intriguing to me that I wanted to learn. And so this morning, I kind of did my own thing with them, and I want to look at what this, hold please. I want to look at what this, so it came from my Oracle deck, from the Inner Temple Oracle deck. I wanted a spread that really resonated for my tarot cards. So I was pulling cards from my Oracle deck about just what do I need to know? What is my body trying to tell me? And then I did a spread from here with my tarot cards called the Golden Thread Spread. And basically it asks you these questions. And so this is what kind of brought me to all of this today. First question was, where am I now? Second was, who was I? Third was, who am I becoming? Fourth is, what am I being called to let go of? Fifth is, what am I being called to step into or courageously embrace? Sixth is, what is the highest outcome? And seven is the practical step I can take now. And I can't even tell you how spot on those cards were about who I was, where I'm at now, what's happening right now in my life and my business. And I can't say enough about, if you're trying to find somewhere to get connection to your higher power, to your spirit helpers, use cards, because they will, you have to use them with intention. I don't like prediction. I don't like anything that predicts, but what I like is things that validate that I'm on the right track. And so if you're using them correctly with intention, and you start off with a question of something specifically that you're looking for, you will get the answers. And the more you play with them, the more that you get better at it, the better the answers will be. Because at first you'll just be like, that's pretty vague. But it's crazy how accurate they are if you learn to do it correctly. So, and there's no rhyme or reason or perfect way. It's just what's correct for you. And anything that you want to perfect or do better, you've got to practice that, right? So it's always going to get better the more that you do it. So so we talked about strategy and authority. So here's what I want you to, I'm always going to push you to look into your human design, whether you do it with me, whether you go get a free chart online and deep dive on yourself, however that you want to do it right now. If it's something that resonates with you, I'm telling you, it will help you so much. So I wanted to give you a little metaphor of what your human design is because it's a lot of information. And so a lot of people get hung up. They look at the chart and it's so confusing. The body graph is like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. What does all this mean? What do all these symbols mean? That's why you've got to go to somebody that can give you the basics at least, because the basics are what's the most important. All the numbers of your gates, all of the things that tell you your gifts and your purpose really are irrelevant if you don't know how to use your strategy and authority and you don't know your type and your profile. So understand, and also where you pick up energy in your centers. So especially your undefined centers. So understanding all of that is important. I will say to you, you have to be really careful when you go on to online. I have a lot of people that say, "Oh, I just put my chart into Chat GPT." It so far, it's never been 100% correct. And so you have to be, it can give you some good information, but you have to know what you're looking for because remember, it's taking from the collective. So this morning I was playing around with Chat GPT and there's multiple things I have to say. That's not correct. This is that you're looking at this wrong. Or if I've put any other information in there that's not about me, it will somehow pick it up weird. So this morning I put in uh, this really cool chart that I use with human design and astrology, and it couldn't read it very well. And so it gave me misinformation. And then when I started building on what I put in there, it started using that misinformation. And luckily, I knew it. And so I could go in and say, oh, that's not correct. And so then it corrected it. But that's the thing that I want you to realize with ChatGPT. If you're just going in randomly searching for answers, it's just like doing a Google search and you taking the best information from the top and the lowest of the lowest. And so you have to be really careful. So even when I'm looking for information, I'll ask it to look for the most up to date, the most well educated, the most truthful. Like you have to constantly be reminding it, don't just pull it from everything. This is exactly what I want. So I'm not trying to sway you away from using ChatGPT, but to me, human design is so intimately attached to you that you don't want wrong answers. You want it to be done correctly. And there are a lot of people, including me, that take the basics of human design and put them in our own words, but we're keeping the core concepts there. We're keeping the core meaning there. We're just making it a little bit easier to understand. So let me go to my metaphor. So I was thinking, okay, how can I explain how human design is your operating manual? And this is not going to be the best explanation in the world, but I'm going to go with it. So I just bought a new, not just, but we just bought a new Ninja blender, and it's the one that's got the big thing and then the little single one. And when I got that out, I was looking at all the parts, and I've had a blender and I've had a food processor, so I know the basic parts of things. But there was some parts though where I was like, well, what is this for? And some parts that wasn't quite sure fit with what. And so it made me think of that as the metaphor to your human design. So at a core level, we know we're a human being, right? We know what we like, we know what we don't like. We pretty much know what works for us and what doesn't. But if we don't understand all the parts and how they fit together and what part makes the other part work better, then we're just kind of working partially. So it's like, for instance, if I took the Ninja big canister, right, the food processor side of it, and I threw all my stuff in and I didn't put the correct blade in, then it's not really going to do its job, right? So the same with your human design. If you're not 100% sure on how you were designed to operate and you're partially doing it, so you're like, oh, I understand that I know what I like and I know what I don't like, but you're also still taking in the programming of I have to do what other people say so they'll be liked and accepted. You are not operating correctly. You're only operating 100% to your full potential when you understand how you were designed to operate. And so some owners' manuals we don't want to read. And I'll tell you, sometimes it's one of the things that's kept me away from astrology for a long time because it's so deep. But what I've realized is I don't need to know all of it to have it affect my life in a very good way. So for you, going back, you're going to just look at your type, your strategy, and authority. Now, if you already know that and you're doing really good with that, then the next thing that you can do is go into your centers. Look where you pick up energy, your open and undefined centers, where you pick up and amplify other people's energy. That will give you a huge clue on why, when you're around certain people or groups of people or certain dynamics, or you feel a lot of fear or worry or emotional stress, why you're carrying emotions. Like there's so many things. Some of that's in our design, in our astrology, and some of it's in our human design because they're what's the word I'm trying to think of? They intertwine. There is astrology in your human design, but when you take them out separately, you can see it very clearly. Like for instance, I pick up a ton of emotional stuff from people. I'm a Cancer, so everything's about emotion, right? My rising and my sun and my moon are both in Cancer. So you take that equates my open solar plexus. That's where I just, not only am I an emotional being, but I am feeling all of the emotions from everyone else. And so what's interesting is that when I'm in a situation and I start to feel uncomfortable or just not like good, it's not necessarily me. It's because suddenly I'm starting to pick up on the emotions of everybody around me, the hidden underlying emotions that they're not talking about. And so what that does for me is if I'm not prepared for it or I'm not, protecting myself from it, it starts to make me feel icky because now I'm feeling what they feel at a core level. So learning that will just really help you navigate your own emotions. Like there's a lot of you that have open spleen, and that creates a lot of fear because you're picking up people's fear and worry. Okay. So there's a lot more that goes to that. So knowing that, that's your second step. Okay. Is your centers, then your profile. And then I love to look at incarnation crosses because the combination of your profile, the profile would be the number that looks like a fraction. And then your incarnation cross is a lot about your purpose, whether it's for helping others or it's more about self development. And so we're all here as a collective to help each other. Some of us have more in our design that is actually designed to help other people. And so these are the things, and it's not just human design, but it's these kinds of explorations that are going to help you get out of the chaos, get out of this material world that is just more, feed the ego. It's never enough. I gotta keep up with this and I gotta look like this. That's what's creating the unhappiness because we've been not designed, we've been conditioned to fit in this neat little box that makes everybody, we're not the same. But our society has pushed us into trying to be the same, right? So it happens all throughout our lives. In a family situation, you have multiple children as siblings, and the parents, not knowing any better, not understanding how differently children are built, parent them all the same. But then you take those kids out of the picture as adults, and they all experienced a completely different childhood because they were literally, probably one of them was parented correct to their design, and the rest of them weren't. So some of them had good experiences, some of them had bad, and you all had the same parents. And so it's like, why did everybody have a different outcome of childhood, what our childhood looked like? It's because we were parented all the same and we had needs that were different, if that makes sense. Now, then you take that to the next level. School, show up on time, sit in a desk, ask to be excused for lunch and to go to the bathroom. Everything's on a schedule. So then we're now pushed into, this is how you act in the world. You conform. You do it the same as everyone else, or you get a bad grade, or you get in trouble, or you get sent to the principal's office. It's interesting to me. I would be so curious how many kids that struggled with getting in trouble in school, if that would have completely changed and they would have been taught and parented differently according to their design. I think we would live in a totally different world right now. The next level of that is religion. Okay, so the next layer would be religion. So in order to have this, you have to do this. In order to have salvation, in order to be part of this community, in order to have these blessings, in order to be accepted into this community, you have to do this, that, and the other. Well, do you? So that's that community's rule. But how many of us were put in a box that made us feel shameful and guilty and never enough and turned us into massive perfectionists because we were just striving to be like everybody else in that little community or that big community. Okay, so then now you go into relationships and how everyone else was raised, whether it's intimate relationships, work relationships, friend relationships. And then you're like, oh, well, to be accepted into this community and this group of friends, I have to act like this. To be loved in this relationship, I have to act like this. And so you see, as that builds layer upon layer, how we suddenly are not who we really are. We came into this world as a soul seeking an experience that we chose. And the programming kept steering us off like, nope, this is where you need to go. And even as kids, we were like, no, but I want to go this way. But then somebody was like, no, that's not right. So then what that created, what I see a lot with women is the inability to make decisions, me included. Like really what I talk about is things I've gone through. When you make decisions that have a massive impact on your life and it's not a good one, you start to be really worried about making the correct decisions. And you kind of get to where you are moving forward because you're stuck and stagnant because you're afraid to take a risk because what if? So that's another really cool part of your human design is some of you are actually designed to massively take risks. You're massively designed to push the edges and to try things because you're the ones that we're going to look to that we say, ooh, how'd that go? And they can say, yeah, do that. It's great. It was great for me if it feels good for you. Or they can say, you might want to think about that one before you do it. So there are no mistakes. You're here to learn a lesson. Many of you are here to learn those lessons so that you can come back and help the rest of us. So that's where your incarnation cross would partially come in. There's a lot of other parts of your chart that will show you that. So what I'm trying to really say is how many of us are living true to who we are? How many of us are having the experience here that we came to experience? Like I was thinking this morning as I was journaling and going through all my cards and stuff, I was thinking about one of the things that I have clients do a lot of times is what's your final outcome? Like if you were living your best life right now, what does that look like? How do you feel? Like can you run and you have tons of energy and you're in the best shape? Is your mind working really well? Are you just happy with all the people that you've allowed into your space? So if you can find the end game and work backwards, it's really helpful instead of constantly striving for something that you don't know really what you're striving for. So if you can say, this is what I want my life to look like, will it be perfect? Probably never, because we're here to continue to grow, right? But if you can have something to strive for, and then everything that you do that leads towards that is either a yes or a no for you. So that's really a lot of what I've started to do in my own personal life is I think when I make a commitment or I do something in my business, is that leading me to my ultimate goal? Is it? Because if it's not, then I need to say no to it. Unless my sacral says this is an opportunity you need to take advantage of. This is something you should be doing. So I hope that helps you a little bit with understanding why, if you're drawn to human design, that's why. It's because your soul is like trying to say, look, I'm trying, your body's telling you symptomatically, right? I have so many clients that don't sleep, they're burnt out, they're so unhappy, even people that have a lot of money, and they just are a freaking hot mess. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're all there sometimes, right? There's no judgment around that because I am there every other day. But my point is that I don't know what my point is. I totally lost my train of thought. But so when I have people come in and they've got they look on the outside like everything is perfect, but they're a mess inside, it's because they're not listening to their body and their soul. They're pushing along in the conditioning, in the old creative, what they were created to be. And so, one of the big things that I notice with people is timing. Everything's about timing. So you have to, again, use your strategy and authority for timing because a lot of us have big dreams and big goals, but we don't give it timing. We want it now. We're like, oh my gosh, I've been working so hard. That was one of the big things that has come up in the last few weeks in everything I've done, whether it's readings, cards, whatever, is that there's this perfect timing and you just haven't hit it yet. You just haven't hit it for some of the things that I'm trying to achieve. And it's been nice to be patiently waiting because as I patiently wait, I get newer and better downloads of what that's going to look like. So again, going back and taking the time, but recognizing with timing, you can't force timing, but you can hold back on it. And that's where a lot of people get a block, is that it goes both ways. Is they're either forcing and pushing too much, and whenever you have to force, that's not in alignment with you. If you're pushing and forcing something and trying to save it or make it perfect, that is not in alignment with anybody. So forcing timing, or the other big one I see is people holding back. Like they know the timing's there, but they keep on throwing in reasons. Well, I'll do it in 6 months because this will happen. I'll do it in 6 months because this will happen. Well, I'll wait tomorrow because I know this is going to happen. That is like probably the worst habit we can get in. That is procrastination, obviously. But pay attention to how much you're doing that. When I see a client, when I sit with a client and they do that, I have to stop them and say, what are you waiting for? Like, what is it why are you holding yourself back? Like, why are you making all these excuses? It usually comes from fear. It comes from listening to your brain, which will go to logic, even if it feels right. Your brain's going to be like, ooh, that's going to be scary. That's going to be a big catastrophe. You don't want to start that. You don't want to get that ball rolling. So really recognizing, is it coming from just fear that you need to just push through it? Or is it you're correct and you need to wait and it's the right timing? And the only way you can do that is really getting quiet and understanding how your soul gives you messages. So, anyways, that was a lot. I have a card I pulled I want to go over, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's coming up because I would love you to be part of it if it resonates. So, the card I pulled today is called the Beauty Way. I think we pulled this in the Wisdom Circle last week. Anyways, it's like a mirror. These cards all have sparkly. Oh, dang it. I wish you could see it better. But a lot of you are listening, so I'll just describe it. It's from the Rebecca Campbell Inner Temple Oracle cards. And it's called The Beauty Way. And it's a mirror reflection of a girl. And it's got lotus flowers in it. And it's got some crystals in it, some quartz, and a lot of sparkly. And she's sitting down on the edge of like some water. And so let's see what it means to from what the author says. So, beauty is about much more than appearance and aesthetics. Beauty always has a deeper purpose, and it doesn't try to be anything other than what it is, which is why it takes our breath away. Life is beautiful, but it isn't pretty. Beauty is very different from pretty. Pretty is perfect, but it is static, fixed, paper thin, and it holds no substance. It has no depth, and it's not really alive. Pretty never lasts, but beauty is timeless. Beauty holds the essence of life. It contains within it the great mystery. Birth and death are beautiful. Love is beautiful. Friendship is beautiful. Growth is beautiful. All things that are beautiful have a tension within them. Perhaps it's this tension that makes them beautiful, for we appreciate how much of a blessing and a miracle they are when we witness them in their fleeting state, in that never to be seen again moment. Babies are beautiful, flowers are beautiful, the ocean is beautiful, life is beautiful, you are beautiful. Beauty transforms the beholder through its brutal honesty. It activates the breath of life as we exhale in awe, and this brings us to the present moment. If you open your eyes, you'll see that this world is made up of such beauty. And if you do your best to acknowledge it when you can, you'll be brought instantly into the present moment. You'll be inspired to embrace your true nature and sacred purpose, for it's the fact that all things change that makes them all the more beautiful in each moment. Let me go back. You'll be inspired to embrace your true nature and sacred purpose, for it's the fact that all things change and that's what makes them more beautiful in each moment. This card is a reminder to seek the beauty of this world and your life, and in turn to create beauty wherever you go. So the inner temple activation is I open my heart to see the beauty all around me. So I love how that intertwines with being present, because that's one of the ways that I love to get present is to just witness the beauty, like really pay attention to what's happening outside of me. Okay. Not like the energetics of people and social media, that kind of thing. Just like when you're outside on a walk and just noticing something you didn't notice before, or paying attention to things just how beautiful the different colors of green are. Like I'd love to sit in my backyard. There's tons of trees, just all the different shades of green, or just looking really closely at a flower and seeing all the intricate details and design. We don't take a lot of time to do that, but that's what will bring you back to presence and help you remember what truly is beautiful in life. And that the surface stuff doesn't matter. It's what's inside. And one of the big things I always tell my practitioners I work with is you are your SEO. Your energy is your SEO. It does not matter what you do, what you put out on social media, what you do out in the world. If your energy is incorrect, nothing will come to you. But if your energy is in the right space, you don't have to do a lot and things will come to you. So getting present and getting clear and finding you is the best way to start attracting all of those things that you're needing. Whether you have a business, whether you're just trying to find love, whether you're just trying to get out of the chaos, whether you're trying to make more money, all of those things are attached to a frequency. So I'm going to encourage you today to go out and find something beautiful and to find a way that gets you in the present moment and keeps you there and really start noticing. It's interesting as we were driving out of the city, we were out in a rural area and Utah's got I think the largest fires in the United States going on right now. And when you're away from it, it's affected me because the air quality hasn't been great here. And even when I look at the pictures we took this weekend, you can just see that it's smoky. But even here at that was out in the middle of nowhere. But even at my house, there's been times where it's just you can smell the fires. So it's affected me, but not in a way where I'm right in the midst of it, obviously, right? And so I have compassion for that. But as we were driving through the mountain range and you could see the fires on the way in and you could see how much they'd grown on the way out, it just gave me so much compassion and love for the people that are suffering from those fires, because until you see it burning and you see the workers that are out there, the firemen and other service workers that are out there just working tirelessly, like where we were driving, there had been a fire that had jumped the road the couple days previous. And so both sides of the road were burned. There were big tubs of water that they come and I'm assuming they use those to dip when the helicopters drop the water, because there's no water in a lot of the small lakes up there that were there usually. And it just gave me so much like a bigger picture of here I am off in my little world and this doesn't really affect me. But these people that it's affecting, it is full on affecting them. And it just puts you more that really took me back to the presence of just enjoy today, be present today, love, take care of the people that you love, reach out to the people that you love. Just don't get caught up on all the stuff that doesn't matter, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? And I believe so deeply that we came here to experience, but also there's a reason that we're here. We have a purpose. You have a purpose of touching lives. It could be on a huge scale. It could be on just randomly passing people in the grocery store. You might be the person that just has a smile for everybody that you meet, or that just has a great aura and energy. And that's what you're here to do. And so your job is not necessarily to, do something on a large scale, but your job is to get out where people can feel that. So understanding your own energy and how you influence others is really another way that you can give back. Because a lot of us, when we talk about purpose, we think, oh, I have to have like this grand stage and I have to be seen and I have to be known. No, it doesn't have to be big like that. It's you're like, so I'll give you an example. One of my big parts of my design is helping humanity. So the way I saw that was just like giving, 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 doing this for free and giving that and going and just over giving my energy. And when I dove deeper into some of the things that I've learned, I realized that my job, what I do on a daily basis, is helping humanity. And I don't need to be like doing all these I don't need to be out, working for the Red Cross or doing something big, because that would be out of alignment with my truth, right? It's got to be something I enjoy doing that gives to humanity. So I hope that helped. I hope you guys gleaned something from that. I will put the questions in the show notes. And then I'll put the Oracle card deck in the show notes. And then I'm also going to add the wait list. So what I'm doing is I want to tell you a little bit real quick how I'm working with people going forward. I've learned that the majority of us need a lot of support to make change. And we can't all afford to hire an expensive coach to do all of that. I don't want to be that super expensive coach. What I want to do is give you enough information and enough time that you can create transformation enough to see the possibility that you can keep doing it on your own. I'm a firm believer that everything we need is inside of us. We just need to be reminded. We need to be shown how. We need people to validate things for us because we've forgotten how to trust ourselves. And so going forward, I will do basic human design readings on a one-off scale, but anything more than that comes in a 3-month coaching program because I'm not it there's parts of my design that it get extremely frustrated when I can't help somebody make change. And a one-time appointment is very rarely going to make change. Now, if it plants seeds, great. But most of us need more. And because I have one in my design, when I find something that excites me that I want to learn about, I will go deep on it and learn everything there is and make sure that what I learn is truth. But if we don't have those kinds of things in our design, then we need other people to validate us or to help us or to show us. And so the 3 months working with me is a series of one-on-one appointments, either virtually or in person. A lot of them will be virtual, just a lot of people just want a virtual for convenience, but also I'm not always going to be in the same spot, so that makes it easier. But I do believe that being in person, the energy is really amazing. And so I always like to meet with people in person as much as I can, at least one time. So that 3-month program is going to incorporate taking your human design and your astrology and looking at your lifestyle and what is out of whack and how that's happening because you're using your energy incorrectly. And so I'm going to teach you, here's how you take your owner's manual and your life and you start integrating them to create the life that you came here to have. I'm also going to incorporate, for some of you, you will need some help with the nutrition and the physical health. Sorry, this is getting long and my body's like, stop talking. Um, some of you will need more of that, the physical stuff. Some of you will need more of the check-in, like, hey, I just need to be like, I need somebody to tell me I'm doing a good job. So that's what that's going to be about. If you want to really make change and you're really committed to making change, that will be my 3-month program. And you'll get to see details of that if you go look at it on my website on Substack. And then lastly, I've been sitting with creating a group coaching program again. But I've been waiting because I just knew that what I had in mind wasn't quite how I wanted it. And so that is coming and evolving. And my goal was to start it in August. It's probably going to be the first part of September. And so if you want to be part of that, I will put a link in the show notes to get on the wait list for that group coaching. That it will be much more affordable than one-on-one appointments. And it's going to slowly layer different things that you can use with your human design and other things that I've learned to work with my clients to help you facilitate change and facilitate it faster with support, with community, and it's going to be really, really cool. And so I can't really explain what that's going to look like yet because it's still coming in, but I'm super, super excited about it. So get on the wait list. If you're on the wait list, you'll be first option for it. I will probably open it to a small group of people to start with. And because I want it to be somewhat intimate. I don't want it to be such a big community that people feel like they're not being heard. And I'm really big about being there for you. So if you need hand holding support, you want to be able to text me and say, hey, I'm having an issue with this. That's the one-on-one coaching. If you want more of a community, you want to make change, but maybe you don't want the investment of one-on-one coaching, then get on the wait list for the programs that are starting up in September. Anyways, I appreciate you being here. I love doing this. I hope you get something that was helpful to take away. I hope we meet someday, or if not, I hope that you find somebody that can help you towards the goals that you want. Because when you're in your alignment with your truth, the people that you need will come into your life, and you will know it. Like the better you get about listening to your intuition, you will just know that person is part of my agreements here. They're supposed to be in my life, and it may be just for long enough to teach you something. So wherever you go, whatever you do, just make a step forward today. Take some action on making your life better the way that you want it to be, and getting outside of all of the programming and all of the things that you're feeling the pressure and the force. That was one of the big things as I was coming back into town last night, was just, it was like this feeling of pressure. And it's pressure that I'm allowing myself from the past. It's not even really there, but it's that old, when I had a job, I would get the Sunday night blues, like, because I was like, oh, the weekend's over, it's almost Monday. That was the pressure I felt coming in yesterday. And I love my job and I love what I do. There are some stressful things about it, but I felt like it was more of an energetic of, you're back in society, and this is what society is going to try to make you feel like and put pressure on you to do. And I had to just go, okay, bye. I don't have to do any of that, right? But it comes up still because it's in us from our past. So as you're evolving and as you're trying to eliminate things and create more peace in your life, those things are going to still come up because there's little bits and pieces that need to be worked on constantly. And so don't get frustrated. Don't give up. I used to be like, oh, I already worked on all of that. Instead, just acknowledge it, figure out what it's trying to tell you, what can you learn from it, and then let it go. Process it out. Okay. Have an amazing week. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I love to hear your comments. I love aha moments, any of that. You can always reach me at my email address, thealignedlifestylist.com, or book through my website at The Aligned Lifestylist on Substack. Okay. Have an amazing week, and I will see you all next Monday. Okay. Bye-bye.